Actually, the reason why I'm doing this session is, well, for one, I'd like to be the E3, and while I'm here, might as well contribute something. As of April, I've changed roles. I work for Citrix, nonetheless, and none of the Citrix session. I do work from home, full-time by now, so that was a culture change for me as well, even though, we all work for tech companies more or less. We are kind of in the business of working from home, or enabling that you can work from home, or as a remote worker that you can work with at McDonald's, that's fine as well. But that's what we do. And now I'm drinking our own champagne because I'm working at home full-time, always, no travel. But along the way, throughout the years, I've been working from home, and I found out that working from home requires some adjustments to what you think you can do, or how you should work, or perhaps you shouldn't work. So how can you be effective when you are working from home, right? That's basically how can you be as effective as possible for yourself, but also facing outwards to your boss. So when I talk about working from home, this is how some people think about working from home. Like when I said I'm going to work from home, like all right, we know what's going to happen. And this is definitely this could be alright for some. Actually, I think this picture shows it a bit bigger, right? Or better. How some people think about how I work. I mean, if you Google things, then you'll find these type of images. I'd say they're all true. They all apply to me, more or less, in some. It's not 100% right. This is not how I work from home. But then again, how my colleagues think of me, how I work. Especially I work from home full time because. Yeah, if you want to leave a lunch there as well. By the way, there's also a session if you want. I work for a global company, which means I work in different time zones. It happened to me on multiple occasions where a colleague reached out to me, like it's 8 p.m. So if he asks what are you doing? I'm showing a picture of what I'm doing, which is having a wine or drinking beers. Some colleagues have the impression that I'm always drinking while I'm working, which is not 100% true. This expectation is actually really interesting. It's not about my wife, or girlfriend, but yeah, absolutely. If you work from home, you have a family, who cannot always see the difference in the life between work or at home, or I like to say family time or business time. That's definitely a challenge. It's a good thing. It's really flexible, and you've got a lot of freedom. That's awesome. But finding the balance and having good understanding with each other is good. Working from the bed, I'm not sure. That's one. How my friends think I work, definitely. Each time I can post something like that on Instagram or share with my friends, absolutely, just make them jealous. And in summer, of course, I work in my backyard in the sun. It's true, and it's a good thing, but it's finding the balance for everyone. So let me start with some statistics. I figured instead of doing a survey, ask you to raise your hands. I might do it anyway, but safe travels. There are many researches done talking about remote working from home. How many people do it? Why should you do it? Let's start with the positive things, the good things for you as an individual. These are all surveys. There's links in the slide deck, so you can find them. Actually, most people who work from home, they say they are more effective. They feel more effective, more than those who work in an office. So that's a good thing, right? You can do more in the same time, I guess. In the same time, that's improved motivation. That's good. If I look at myself, I'm working from home full time. I have my own office. My wife has her own company. She works at home as well. That's really good. I really like that. Just go downstairs, go have a coffee, have a chat, have a lunch, and I mean that definitely improves my motivation to work and go back to work maybe as well. Definitely, that's much better. Also, there are not many colleagues who are disturbing me. Good time. Apparently, higher salary. It was a kind of dodgy statement, but apparently you can get more money if you work from home. I think that has to do with the character that you are. If you can work at home and you be really effective, then apparently you have a good working ethos. So if you want to sell it to your boss, that's important as well. Hey, I want to work from home instead of I'm already working at home. There's less turnover for organizations, so that's why you also see a shift from people who are working full-time in the office And that changes for the employees, basically, because less people leave your company. Because of the statistics we've seen before, people are more happy, they're more flexible. That means they are not frustrated. They don't have to be in the traffic jam for many hours a day. Good. So people stay longer at their company. So that's good. They attract more young talent because, as we all know, well, that's the way they say it. Millennials and those after, they want to work from home. They want to be flexible. I say I'm not a millennial, I guess, and I have the same requirements. So I think older people want to have the same. It attracts young people, and by the way, it saves money. So it's always a good reason to sell this to your boss. It saves you money. Like, all right, that's it. Right, so a lot of arguments why you should do it. So happy days, good times. You have a really big lens. You hear that often?
Big lens for big face.
So yes, definitely. If I look at myself, I'm really happy working from home. All good stuff. So really happy. But
so have you had a salary increase because you're now working from home?
Saving on the travel.
Good one. I changed role, which came with a salary increase, and also I'm working from home. So no, it's not like you go home, you get more money.
Yeah.
But yeah. I always want more money, so sure, if they want to change, hey. So it's not all good. It's definitely not all good. So there is some research being done on actually for those people who work from home. Now they have more problem switching off. Yeah, you work from home. So yes, the family thinks you're at home, so you can play. Like I have a daughter, she's 4 years old. Like, Daddy, you want to play? And each time I come down, she's like, Daddy, you want to play? That's pretty hard if you have to say no 10 times in a row because you're at work. Can't explain it to a 4-year-old adult. So yeah, it's a risk as well. Like you're at home, so you can work whenever you want. But there's 24 hours in a day. If you want to work 24 hours, that could happen. Some people do, and yeah, it's a problem indeed. I mean, I've been speaking to. I named the session "Working from Home Like a Pro," which means I had to call other people to ask their opinion. So I've been speaking to a lot of my colleagues who work from home. I've been speaking to Christian, is he here? No, Christian is here. Ruben, Kees Bachman. I call a lot of people like, hey, you work from home. You're in the same situation. What do you think? Some people don't mind this. So Kees Bachman, I go way back with him. He doesn't see it as an issue.
What do you do with like you mentioned, the colleague who's only at 8 hours because we live in a industry, in the States and stuff like that.
Yep.
Do you write those hours, or do you like if it's like something that you have to do?
It's a good question.
Apart from your normal allocated work day.
Yeah. So I have something on planning and scheduling, but I don't write hours at all. So I'm lucky that I work in an organization, especially in a team, which says as long as you're productive, as long as you do what I think you should do, and you have deliverables, do it whenever you want to do it. I don't mind. Share there are like say working hours, which varies because I work in Europe and US and Asia, so it's like 20 hours a day individually. As long as I'm available for meetings, that's fine. So for me, that means if I think I did like 40 hours a week-ish, sometimes more, sometimes even less, good. But it's up to me to keep the balance.
You can also schedule your day in a different time zone, so you start later
Yes.
and you end later.
Absolutely, and I'll get back to that one, because that's an interesting one. So another one is basically more or less the same, but it's not only that you cannot disconnect, if you also have the problem unwinding and able to relax. I mean, others have the same thing, right? Even in fixed locations, people have the problem. I had the same problem as well. I mean, if you are stressed in your work, even if you have an hour drive in the car, which I always enjoy, because then you can listen to music, unwind, you have more. So it's not all glory, right? And I think we all have it in a way.
You drink more in the evening.
That's tough. Drinking more. Tough, yeah.
But you cannot go with colleagues for a beer.
End up juicing your coffee in the morning.
Yeah. So it's not all good times, and it's things you can do to improve this. And it's therefore some pro tips. Learn from my mistakes, learn from others. It's not really mistakes, lessons learned basically. Like I said, a lot of colleagues I had interactions with, especially when I got this role, like, how I'm gonna do this? What's your best tips? And they don't all apply. So let's start with productivity. If you work from home, you're more productive. everyone has that same assumption. You will be more productive. So, especially like 5-6 years ago when I worked from home, I got freedom. I actually got quite stressed. Like I'm working from home, I'm going to be more productive. I must be more productive. And especially if you sold it to your boss, like I'm going to work from home, so I'm going to do a lot of work. You're actually, I felt like I oversold it. So I was actually getting stressed, and as you know, stress actually reduces your productivity. I was just looping and looping like I should be more productive, and actually was thinking more about how it can be productive instead of being it. So actually what happens and what you read a lot is like people work from home, work more hours.
Yeah, that's true.
Not just because they can, it's because they think like, so I had a coffee with my wife, so I should work more. Whereas if you're in the office, you'll do the same thing, but you don't, it's not like, it doesn't match up. So you can be more productive, but there are some guidelines and tips that I follow to actually be more productive, and also allow me to switch off and disconnect, otherwise you'll kill yourself. So, great statement, with great power comes great responsibilities. Yes, you get a lot of freedom, a lot of flexibility. Visibility is actually not power, it's responsibility for you. It's great that you have freedom and that you can work all the hours that you want. If that's freedom you get, and sometimes it's necessary. Same goes for me, I have calls with the US. You have to do something with it. So, who of you know what the student syndrome is? I knew of this before I Googled it. So, the student syndrome is something that actually was taught to me in school, is basically planning procrastination. I have an exam in 2 months, joy, let's have some beers with my friends, I go outside, and 2 weeks in advance, like, oh shit, I have an exam. That's bad, I have to do a lot of studying, full nights. The same thing could happen if you work from home. You know, I got a lot of things to do, I have some things to do, I have a lot of time, I can work all the hours, I can stay in bed, I can work in the evenings, and in the end turns out you didn't do anything at all because you've been busy doing fun stuff or other stuff, and you had all the time. So sure, you can, but perhaps it's wise to think about what you want to do in advance, and that is also coming here. I named it Make a Success List, to-do list, but if you see it as a success list, and I know this sounds pretty, perhaps even lame, but make a list of accomplishments. Take a whiteboard, make a list of the things that you want to do that day. Do it each day. Not a list like this month I want to do something. No, make a list and list the things you want to do. Big things, I want to write a report, I want to build a presentation, but also small things. Especially the small things is really important. Because once you've got something done, check it, strike it, whatever, don't wipe it. Because that gives you at least a feeling that you've done something, you've accomplished something. I do this every day. I have a whiteboard, I have a list of things in the long term for the week, and I have a list of things I do each day. So that way I know when I start, like, oh, that list is really long. I better get started to get things done. I usually start with the little ones, so I've done something, makes me happy, and actually once I get start working, I'm in the mood, I'm in the flow, things will start kicking. Otherwise, I'll be reading the news, my Facebook, my Instagram. I have a lot of things I can do without actually. Yes?
Why do you do it on a whiteboard and not digital?
That's a good question. That's why I said write it down. The moment you write it, it's in your brain. A whiteboard you have to erase and start over. That's why I said do it each day. A digital whiteboard is you type it and you probably leave it there. So things, I have an app, which I don't use often apparently, which is a to-do list. You strike it, you know, and it's all digital, it syncs, that's great. I never look at it. You don't open up your app like, what's my to-do list? A whiteboard is physical. I can see it in the office when I go in and out. Hey, that's the whiteboard. I can wipe it, I can strike it. That's why I whiteboard with customers. I draw it, everyone can do it. So it's a mental thing. Writing it means you've learned it already. It's already in your brain. While typing is different.
It's visible to you all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. I have one other sheet of paper next to me, and it's just there every time I look.
Exactly.
Oh, I've got that I wanted to do.
That's it. You can do it on a paper as long as it's somewhere. Like I like the whiteboard because it's between my office and the door. So each time I walk, and I try to walk quite often, I see it. I remember myself. There's a long list story.
Do you have to produce a weekly activity report or anything like that?
Yes.
That you also
Yes.
combine this into, yeah.
Yeah. So usually when that comes up, I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah,
Did I do
that's where
anything?
that comes up, too.
So therefore, I remind myself, then and also during the day, like I want to have something to report on. And sometimes that means, like I went to Synergy, and I know like this is the one line item. That's it. I went to event. That's a week, so I won't be more. But at least my boss knows I've been there. But this really at least helps for me. I got this tip from a colleague as well. We said, do it per day. Strike it, don't wipe it, and do it just each time. Just to remind yourself, like I've done things, and this is what I want to do for today. Doesn't mean you need to plan it like for 8 hours of activities. Plan 4 hours of activities. In fact, probably someone will call you, or on Slack, on Twitter, whatever. There will always be more work. But this helps you at least feel productive, and that avoids that you get stressed from I didn't do anything today. And I used to have that quite a bit. Like I had to write a report or analysis. It took a week, and each day I was like, what did I do? I wrote like one paper or one page. So use it, don't use it. But this is what works for me and from others. I work for you. Oh yeah, day schedule. Yes, you can stay in your bed for many hours if you want. My advice, it's the same as this one actually. Work office hours, which means for me, actually it's twofold. I work office hours, meaning I work from 9 to 5 basically, my time zone. That doesn't really work because I have other time zones I have to work with, so I actually block time in my agenda for my lunch. That's my private time with my wife. And I block a piece between 5 and 8, 6 and 8, like private time, it's family time. So one of my colleagues want to schedule something with me, that's fine, please do, but not in private time. I don't want to have to say no to you because I want to have dinner. So I'm blocking the pieces in my agenda which are for me, and the rest is open. And it's indeed up to you to say what time you will start. But if you want to be effective, it's the student syndrome. Don't lay in your bed like I have all the time of the day. Sure, you have it, but if you waste it in bed, that's just wasted. So.
What about starting early? Like, say I have that happen sometimes when I'm working from home. I'm up early anyway, so
Yep.
5:30, 6 a.m.
I'd say whatever works for you. If you're the most effective in the morning, do it. But at least you have the day ahead, right?
Mm.
So that's student procrastination or planning, but the other way around. Do it in advance, I have some time left. Instead of, I'm going to do fun stuff now, and then I need to work pretty hard in the evening to catch up. But yeah, absolutely. The office comes in later, but yeah. You can do other stuff in between. That's the flexibility you get, especially if you work in an international role, you have calls with the US. Take 1 hour in the lunch or 2 hours, go for a run, whatever. That's perfect. Actually, doing activities, sporting activities in the middle, probably will help. It clears your mind. You're fresh again. That's good. Do take your breaks. Yes, during your office you can just sit there for 8 hours, but standing up is really good for your health. It's also good for your brain. I'm lucky enough that I am on the second floor, so I have to go down, get a coffee, say hi to my wife, I go back up again. So at least I keep on moving. That definitely helps me be productive. Like I said, plan time for lunch, dinner with family, etc. It's important. By the way, I skipped the make up your bed. For some, that works, right? Hey, accomplishment done. I can do it, but my wife is still in bed, so it didn't really work for me. That's sorry. And like I said, call it a day. Allow yourself to switch off. I know you can do a lot of work, and we're all passionate about the things that we do. You will burn out eventually. And especially for me, I had some health issues with my arm. I need to call it a day, or I'll kill myself eventually. So, switch off. You have a list of things you accomplished, right? That's where it's a success list. This is what I've done. I've done a great job. I'm a great value of for my companies. I get more money. That's great. But there's a moment you should stop. Your boss won't tell you to do. He can't see you. So eventually you will burn out, and no one is happy.
When you stop for the day, do you also turn your phone off?
Nah.
So then you're always working.
That's a good one. Actually, Ruben told me that. When he has his family time, he switches off all his notifications. Like, I'm now disconnected. This family time. I'm muted, and I don't disable everything because I also have my friends on the same phone, so the WhatsApp and stuff comes in. I learned myself just to ignore it. which is sometimes difficult because sometimes I get messages like, I need to respond here. It's just, I'm on the fence on this one. Perhaps if that happens too much, affects you too much, you can say no to those messages, then you should definitely disable it. But I'm, let's say, married to my phone. This is my most personal device, so don't take it away from me. It's just, I'm not ready. Right?
Well, yeah, what also helps is like disabling all the corporate notifications and only allow the personal notifications.
Yep.
I turn off all the notifications from my email, from the corporate account, but my personal account was enabled, which just when you want to work, you have to open it to see all the new emails.
Yeah.
That's also really helpful.
Yeah. And also something which works for me, when I say, plan your time, I actually, it's not physically in my agenda because I'm too lazy to put it in every day. I plan my Outlook time. So once in the morning I open Outlook, I'll scan through which is important, etc. Then I have something else in my agenda which I planned. I'll close Outlook and I won't go back. Because Outlook I can spend 24 hours in Outlook. I'll get email. Same goes for Slack, right? We're using Slack internally. There's a lot of things going on in there, especially the Citrix Slack, I'm the CTP Slack, I'm the CTA Slack. I have a lot of channels where I can spend all of my day. I have a few minutes in there, which I think is necessary. Then I close it and ignore it for a few hours. So, which works for me, so I work on tasks and I accomplish them. If I get a call, that's something else, I'm happy to pick them up. Even that I sometimes ignore if it's important, but my task is important. So try to work in blocks where you can be successful.
I think the problem is, though, I get this a lot. When I'm working from home, people expect me to respond instantly, and they expect me to respond out of normal hours. Whereas in the office, if someone contacts you, they're not bothered. They know you're in the office, but when you work from home, they want response now.
It's all a perspective thing.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I think it's a whole perspective thing about what your colleagues think you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore, that's why I put things in my agenda, especially when it's important stuff, like I'm working on a paper, working on research. I open up my calendar, so every colleague can open up my calendar, they can see what I'm doing. So I think visibility comes in later, but they can see what I'm doing. So if they give me a call and I don't respond, just check my calendar. I was busy working on this. It's too important because if it works for you, that's great. But for me, if I get too many calls, and I don't get many calls because most of my colleagues are in the US, so it starts at 4 p.m. for me. Back in the day when I was working for a sales organization, yeah, sure, I get a lot of calls. And some of my customers, I'll take them. If it's a colleague who has probably something irrelevant for me, but it's just important to him, I'm sorry, but I'll call you back later. I have a voicemail. It's for a very good reason. But that's the way how that was even before I work from home. But yeah, keep a day schedule, and especially this is important to me. Switch off, because otherwise you'll burn out, as we've seen in the studies. Visibility. You are invisible to everyone, except maybe your family. So this means no one knows what you're doing. Perhaps you produce papers, and I post them on a website, so people every week they see I posted something. Some people do. If people don't see what you're doing, you could assume they think you're really busy and you're awesome, but no one knows what you're doing. So make sure people see what you do. Make sure that your manager sees what you're doing. So yeah, I do weekly reports, so I report it to my manager, and his manager can see my activities. But make sure that your team also sees what you're doing, and even your company. And I know this to me, this sounds very American-like. So shout what you're doing and think we're.
Hey.
So yeah, and I'm sorry, and I'm the same way on Twitter. You know, weird. Americans tend to be more vocal and more like, look at me, I'm awesome.
Yeah,
That's perhaps the word I didn't want to use. Yeah. But it's important if you're in such a role, if you're working 24 hours, 5 days a week from home, and you do work but no one can see it. Why do you think that your colleagues respect you for the work that you do? If they can see it, that's very difficult. I had this issue actually the last few years where some colleagues were, so they give you a call, you didn't pick up. I was busy. Your calendar is empty. What do you do? Why are you busy? And people, they will come up with their own opinions on you. Actually, it wasn't me, but my colleagues. If your calendar is empty, you can be busy. So therefore, I fill my calendar with the things that I do for myself, but also for others. They know where I'm working. They respect my time. If they call me anyway, that's fine. Then probably support it. But show what you're doing. If you don't show it, no one else will know.
I find that the invisibility was true too, because I wasn't in the office and I would get excluded from meetings and I would find out about it afterwards. Like I could go see it on somebody else's calendar. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, I can dial into that meeting too. You know, why didn't you include me on the invite? And it's the visibility thing.
Yeah.
Even though my calendar's got stuff in it and they know where I'm at, they don't work at home, so.
Yeah, it's also on
It's a
those,
tough-
those socials, right? If you see things happening,
Mhm.
chip in, do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a physical office, you can hear people talking,
Right.
walk there, which is good. Sometimes bad because people come to you as well, so they're distracted. So that's a good thing about working from home. The bad thing is you're disconnected.
Yeah.
That's more or less the next slide, actually.
That's where the Skype for Business helps, they can see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this might be controversial. We saw the first picture, but close. Okay? You're going to work. Whether you're at home or not, you are at work. So it's not only for meetings very useful, right? It's like conference calls. You see this guy sitting in his pants. You're a professional at work. So when I work at home, I wouldn't say I wear a full suit, but I dress as if I go to work because I feel like I'm at work. So it's a mental thing and it helps me. Same reason why I start at 9 a.m. Okay, I first bring my daughter to school. That's flexibility. That's great. I start at 9 a.m. and I have normal working clothes. Not a short, unless it's don't wear shorts. I don't wear. So it's again, it's all mental, right? I know it's difficult. If you work from home once a month, don't care, it doesn't matter. But I work from home full time. I have to have a mental thing, which is work, office, upstairs, fairly normal clothes, which is easy during conference calls. When I have my private time, then I can wear whatever I want. But it helps you be productive. Professional, dress for the job you want to have. Really help. Sees you. So again, visibility. So this also comes to this one. I feel disconnected. This is very common if you work from home. You said it as well. No one invites me. Don't you feel alone when you work from home? First question I got. No, I don't feel alone. My wife is downstairs. I'm not alone. But yeah, it's very easy to become disconnected from your team, your department, your entire company, because you are just producing stuff at home. There's no interaction. You have no social interaction.
Yeah, but I wouldn't relate loneliness and being disconnected as being the same, because you know everybody can be okay being alone, but it's all that communication, interaction, being part of the team.
Agreed. It's more, I mean, feel disconnected from your team or whatever. Being alone is something else, right? That's more broader sense, but at least being alone in your company, your work. That's, so, how do you stay connected with your organization? This is where my headquarters is, basically. I work for Sherpa organization, so it's there. The other one is there. I have my colleagues all over the world, right? So, global team, that's great. But how do I stay connected with them? How do I feel part of the team? How do they see me as part of the team and the organization? Two things. Reach out. Don't expect them to reach out to you, reach out to them. That's actually a thing for your success list. Put in your success list every day, reach out to one random colleague. Not that random. I want to reach out to CEO, like, hey, what's up? Reach out to a colleague once a day. Hey, how are you? What do you do? Ask social things if that's okay in your organization, right? Just random, not in your own team, that's fine, because otherwise I have 6 colleagues that I'll ask someone each week. Just ask someone, right? Hey, you're in the US, what are you doing? Hey, you're in Japan, what are you doing? Just do it, just ask them. So you have some interaction with people, you get some social interactions. And that's, again, something to strike off your success list. So you're being successful that day. And then use the webcam. I think the webcam is not used enough in meetings. If I have a one-on-one with my manager, turn on the webcam. Because I can see what he's doing. You can see if someone's listening or not. It actually builds trust. When I did meetings with my customer, with a conference call, I turn on the webcam. They don't have to, they usually do. By the way, if I turn it on, I was like, damn it.
No, that's-
Do it well. Yeah, damn it. And I didn't dress up well, so
Yeah.
therefore, dress up, right.
What also helps, back in the day when I was collaborating together with a developer, we turned on the webcam, but in the end we left it open the entire day. So I was present.
That's awkward.
It is a bit awkward, but I was present together with the team, so they see my face on his screen.
Yeah.
I see people walking around, they see me leaving my workspace and coming back. But it is a window into your own privacy.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
exactly.
it does help making you part of the team and feeling connected.
Yeah, it adds a human touch. It's the way I see it, yeah.
Yeah,
So indeed, you're part of the
when your
team.
wife walks in with not a lot on while you're on webcam.
That's, yes.
Surprise you for
Do
lunch.
you use a, like, on your team, because this is one of the things I found was we were using either SharePoint or something as a collaborative tool, and
Yeah.
there were projects and tasks that the team had to get done, and so I found myself volunteering a lot more because I could see it, and I was, you know, like when you're at the office, you get pulled away from your desk more, but at home, I was really focused,
Yeah.
so I ended up, you know, some of the teammates resented me because they were like, oh, you're just, you know, you're wrecking it for the rest of us, because you are so, like, I volunteered for stuff and I was working harder.
Yeah.
So I wondered if you do that too, or have that tools in your team.
Yeah, we have the same tools, but don't use
Or
SharePoint
Slack.
anymore, but Slack.
Slack, yeah, I use
um,
Slack too.
And we have audio actually, we actually use it, and mail groups. We have kind of separated our roles and responsibilities. Sometimes questions come in and we can all do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, my entire team is virtual, so.
yeah.
So
that's
we're
good.
all in the same boat, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to be, in a way, it's good being visible and doing this. But if you're an overachiever, not everyone actually respects that.
Yeah,
Or,
right. It
it's-
was hard.
and sometimes that's their problem.
Yeah,
I had 2 colleagues who like, I'm sorry, but that's your problem.
Yeah,
You're the way
that's-
you're in
that's
the
mine.
game. I can't change it, but I want to be successful, or I want to be useful, basically. Difficult. Yeah. Yeah, turn on the webcam. It also, especially in a customer meeting, it builds trust. Also human touch, but it's trust. You're here, I can see your face. You're not just doing something like you do every day, like it's a repetitive task. I'm having a conversation with you one-on-one. Same thing. I mean, we all know that if we have a conversation, we email. It's very different than we have a one-on-one conversation, like with voice, because there's a tone, there's so many more things you can get out of your expression or your tone of voice. Same thing here. Turn it on, use it. Team meeting, same thing. With our team meetings, I said, everyone turns on the webcam, so I am part of the team. I feel like we are watching each other.
Do you ever record set of meetings and stuff?
Do I have it?
Record. Because, you know, like when you have a meeting or something, you can
WebEx or
also
Skype.
record it.
Some meetings are recorded, yeah. So our bi-weekly team meeting isn't. It's because everyone is there. So if it's a larger group and people can't attend, so for instance, I can't attend most of the meetings because it's 7
Time
p.m.
zone.
Yeah, so for the US, it's a great time zone, a great time slot, 7 and 8 p.m. But my time, I'm not attending because I'm at dinner or bringing my daughter to bed. So those are usually recorded. I started to dislike GoToMeeting, except for they now have a feature where they do transcription. So everything's recorded, and they're like, he said this, he said that, so I can actually read what we said.
That's-
That's really good. It's okay, by the way. Weird things come up. It's like YouTube closed captions,
Yeah.
weird stuff. So yeah, stay connected with your team, and this is one way you can do it. And yeah, use Slack, use Skype. You all have more than just one tool. Use it. Reach out to people, even if it's not for like, hey, can you do this, or I have a question. Just make it a bit more social. Video calls, video and video calls. I think the picture already says it. I think it's the UK guy, BBC. So again, webcam. Use the webcam in meetings, in calls. Builds trust. Dress for work. It is dressed properly. I think a lot of us have children, or at least there's a family. Make arrangements for how you work from home. Make clear that you are at work. So not just with children, but also with, let's say, my wife. When I work from home like once a month or something, it's like, oh, you're at home, so can you do the laundry? Can you do the dishes? By the way, can you pick up this? Like, I'm at work. Yeah, but you're at home. So by now that's different because I do it full time. But make agreements on how you work. Have a conversation, and especially with children. For me, it doesn't work yet because she's 4, and the other one is a baby. They don't read, they don't listen, they don't care. If they're a bit older, make something like if the door's closed, I'm gonna call, don't come in, okay? Unless the house is on fire, don't come in. If the door's open, same as in the office, if the door's closed, leave me alone. If the door's open, feel free to step in. But have that conversation, hey, step in, 5. All right. So this is important, just have the conversation, and children, I know it's challenging, but at least do something with it. I mean, that happened as well. This is something else. Children can impact your call when they're playing or crying. Even though the door is closed, it won't stop audio. If they're crying next to my door, that's pretty difficult. I do not have a solution, by the way. Even though I'm on the 2nd floor, children have loud voices. So at least think about it, yes.
On the other hand, what you said, most of us have children, so the receiver of the information of your video call will also know that.
Yes, and in a way that is true. If I have a one-on-one with my manager, that's fine. He sometimes brings his children actually to the meeting, that's fine. I appreciate that. If you're in a customer meeting or you're doing a webinar, that's awkward.
Yeah, webinar's awkward.
Have a baby crying. So again, if you know you're doing a webinar, maybe you should talk to your wife, say, you want to go for.
You've never thought of soundproofing your office? Because I know you do everything professional at home.
Pictures come later. So what I've done, so it's a door and there's some air gap. I closed that. But I'm not gonna really my wife would not appreciate it to leave. So there's the wife acceptance factor. It only goes up by. The other way around as well. I'm in a way unlucky that my daughter's room is right next to my office. I cannot do a call at 10 p.m. and be as vocal as I want to be. I have to consider this as well. I do not have an answer to it, even it's a problem for myself. At least consider that if you work from home, that means you have you have to set boundaries to your work as well. There are considerations. What's more important, your work or your family? I can wake up my daughter if I think that call is important, but I have to settle with my wife. Deal with it. So, the office, the physical office. I like this picture because it's facing outside. Small tip. If you have a home office, try to face it outside. It could distract for sure. Actually, for a video call, it's not that good because you get a lot of light in your face and therefore the video quality is less. But it does it gives you a sense of the day. You get some natural light. You're not in a boxed square, just like in the office. This helps you de-stress a lot. All I can see is the sky and perhaps a little piece of my neighbors, but this helps me relax a lot. I think it was Kees, I call with Kees, when he has a call with the US, usually it's US like, hey, how's the weather? Oh, it's raining. They already got a conversation to talk about the weather. We always talk about the weather, but you can actually see it. So this is a small tip. If you have the ability to face it outside, please do.
Sure. It's not suggested from guest reasons. They suggest to put it to the side, so the light shines on the side to your window, to your monitor, not like heat directly in front of you.
Yeah, but then for your monitor it's fine. But if the light comes in like this on the webcam, it's so this is my office, and this tells it tells a number of stories. I actually have some notes which I can read some good radio station as well. So the notes I took for myself, it's an office, it's not a spare room. So for me, this is my office, okay? So it's not full, but filled with other stuff which distracts me a little bit because I have a 3D printer, I have a soldering station, and all my goodies, and I put them on the side. Just try to ignore them because I like playing with the goodies while I'm doing work. But clean your desk. Clean desk policy is here even more important because in the office, if you don't have a clean desk, it's all work-related stuff. Here, I have a lot of non-working related stuff. This is a toy that I need to fix. Yes, you're in your home office. It's an office. Buy good equipment. Good chair, good desk. If you have the ability to use a standing desk, that's great. My monitors are mounted to the wall, so I can't do a standing desk. It doesn't really work. By the way, If you look at the size of the mouse, you can see that the monitor is actually, it's a 40-inch twice. Go big or go home. It's very American, isn't it? Big as that. The mic, and especially the mic is important to me. You work from home. You have the only way to communicate with your colleagues, your team, your customer is audio. Use a proper mic. It's annoys out of me when you have a conference call and people are in the car with a crappy. It's like you cannot have a normal conversation if your audio is bad. So invest in it. And you work from home, so probably your boss will pay for it. Use a good headset. I have headset as well for the evenings. Invest in your office. It's the primary. All right. If you work on multiple time zones, tip from Ruben, I'm going to use it. Hang multiple clocks. I have one, which is my time zone, and it indeed is challenging. I have an app on my Mac which actually shows the different time zones, but I'm getting very condensed. Just hang 3 clocks. Like this is East Coast, West Coast, Europe, whatever. That helps a lot. It helps me as well, like trying to schedule a meeting, or can I call my colleague? Are they awake? Are they asleep? No, but get a sense of their day as well. Respect their day. I hope they do the same thing. Keeping it clean, yeah. Of course, this is another, the last one I wrote down. My colleague actually has his fitness equipment in the office. I like that because sure, you're flexible. You get all the time you need. You can go to the gym very easily. He's actually in meetings while he's working out. So if he's the team, like if he has to talk, it's different. But if you just sit in and listen, and we have a lot of those calls, why not work out? So I actually have my bike in here, cycling during a meeting. Why not? So that was great. So make use of the flexibility that you have. And if you work out, we all know if you have been working out, you're actually rejuvenated. That's good stuff. If you have the ability to do so, it's great. And by the way, you're sitting here for 8 hours. Moving is good. So for the coffee, I have my movement. Actually, some other on the way. I built some obstacles on the way, so I can do some pull-ups and stuff. I have some weights. So along the way, I force myself to move. Otherwise, I'll just sit there and do nothing. So I think that was the last tip I had. Yep. I hope this helps you when you work from home, and also help you justify working from home, that you are at least productive, and try to use these small tips that I had, my colleagues, and some of the guys from the community. That helps. Any questions? Nope. Otherwise, I'm around. Thank you guys. Enjoy.